according to this calendar, Saturday snuck up on me. But what can I expect from the Silly Yarny Sisters Socktacular Saturday extravaganza? Oh, wow. I did work on socks. I'm at that in-between spot where the socks really aren't causing me any mischief. There's not a lot of chaos going on with them. I just woke up. Let's do this. Let's see. My socks still live in the bag. I have not been carrying the raspberry with me because I won't need the raspberry colorway until I get into the to the toes. So I've just had them over here next to me. I've been working with the green. So in the beginning, I chose this green from, I think, the flea market. It was in a whole bunch when I bought that Ella Ray wool that I used. It was like extreme discount, like they were just giving it away. I picked it up because it was sock weight and it said that it was infused with aloe vera. After working with this through the majority of the sock now, I can officially say that was a sales gimmick on the labeling. I really don't feel, after I use it, the brand is Kurtzer. Kertzer. Kurtzer. www.kurtzer.com. It said it is made in Turkey, machine washable and dryable. SRK on your toes. 4-ply sock yarn with aloe vera. It's 75% superwash wool and 25% nylon, which that little bit of nylon makes that elasticity in your socks. It's the good stuff. So I don't see anywhere on here where it actually just says, it just says with aloe vera. In my brain, I'm thinking as I'm working it as like a spa therapeutic aspect of wearing these socks on my feet, that it's just going to be infused with goodness. It says 75% superwash wool. Wool's not made with any sort of aloe unless that sheep was just like running through the aloe fields. I don't know. But then the 25% nylon. Nylon is a synthetic, so it's not a plant organic matter that's included in any of that percentage. So the fiber of this, there's no room for aloe vera. And I think that's why my brain kind of just assumed that maybe whoever was at the spinning wheel that day had used aloe on their hands and was just kind of infusing, sprinkling, I don't know. In working with it, my hands don't feel soft. Well, no softer than the natural components of wool. I mean, even though they, do all the treatments and stuff to get the lanolin out of them, I'm not impressed with aloe. I don't think so. Well, I mean, okay, I'll take your word for it, but there isn't even like a manufacturer's like date stamp or anything on here. Maybe over the years the aloe is veered out of here. I don't know. Anyway, and then I got my little Daiso sock ball band on there. These are advertised as sandal socks or yoga socks with no heel, no toe. They just wrap around the middle part of your foot, more as a decoration than any sort of useful sock. Really good coffee today. It's just coffee with a splash of milk in it. Nothing fancy. Sometimes I just need nothing fancy. So this is where I'm at. I got a cuff. I got a beautiful stitched heel with the modified partridge. Oh, what is that heel called? It's fancy. Slightly modified garter stitch edge eye of partridge heel. Ooh la la. I got that naughty little heel flap looking glorious right there. And then my foot has a knit purl. I repeat that over and over in my head for every row, going all the way across, so I could get that nice little texture on only half of my sock, because after I did the decrease gusset, I was back down to my original 64 count of stitches, and that's how far I am on the foot. Not quite enough on this one to move on to the toes, but on its identical twin, I have a cuff, a heel flap, a decrease gusset, which turned out really nice. Look at that. Ooh, that looks professional. Look at that one. Nice. Right there where I just kept taking them away. There's the top. Looking great. Looking long. Here we go. I am just about to the toe. I did all this work and then I paused because I didn't have my tape measure with me. My sock tape measure is round about here somewhere. I was keeping it in my sock bag, but I was so far from needing any sort of measurements. It just felt like I was trying to bulk down my sock bag for the on-the-go stuff. I'll have to look for that. It might be in the yarn cellar over there. So I stopped when I just thought that it was getting close. I put the sock on, and so on my toes, I know that I have to, I have to stop the foot 1.5 inches before the end of my foot, because the toe is 1.5 inches. So when I measured my foot before on other socks, excuse me, when I've measured my foot before on other socks, 1.5 inches is right to the first crease of my baby toe. So that is where this one is. So it'll still be 1.5 inches, which, let me get my ruler. 1.5 inches is that much longer. That's a technical measurement right there. Anyway, I stopped before I had accidentally gone too far, and then I picked up these on the overnight shift and worked my way down the rest of them. I still have overnight scheduled. It's still going on a regular basis. I think the nights are changing up a bit, but that's okay, sis, because I'll still have my time to work on these between our visits. Well, I'm getting close. Getting very, very close to that patch. I'm getting excited. And I'm moving beyond. I'm gonna keep on going. I have plenty of sock yarn that I've accumulated on my own, but I have that beautiful sock yarn that Ellen over at Ellen's Crochet sent me. I have some beautiful sock weight yarn that could become socks that Becca sent me over at Merrymaker. Thank you, ladies, very much for encouraging me to continue on with my socks. Thank you, Missy. Thank you so, so much, Rainy. I appreciate all of you ladies for encouraging me to pull those out of the dark pile of whips over there and to keep going with them. I dust them off. Come on. I did the hard part. That cuff is one by one. One knit, one purl, one knit, one purl, continuing all the way around for however many rows upon rows. That's the hard part of the whole sock. I know. I had to use quite a few lifelines on those heel turns, but honestly, it's just the repetitiveness in learning to recognize, wait a minute, I've got confused or I got interrupted. Was that a knit or is this a purl? And then by looking for the little bar, I think that with this time around was much easier on me after I've made, I think it's about 3 or 4 pairs of socks now. Not with Sis though. Officially for the patch, you have to make 2 pairs of socks. And I really wanted to challenge myself with those 2 pairs of socks. One was a pair that had already been at the very beginning started, but I put it away for so long that the intimidating factor of making socks at all was to pull them out, dust them off, and try and regain interest in them. And then this pair, yeah. So I've been looking at patterns. Been looking at sock patterns. There's one on Etsy that I showed you last week. Here it is. They're chickens. I've seen a lot of color work, beautiful chicken socks. No, I don't want to pair with chicken legs and chicken feet on the foot part. I don't want to do all that. I've seen them. Don't want to do that. But these, it's two-tone. The color work looks very blocked and concentrated. I think from reading all the notes in Etsy and then finding it again on Ravelry, I think I can do that. Plus, the designer has a YouTube channel, which I discovered. I think it's a very, very basic pattern that I want to make next. You know how pattern levels, they'll say this is beginner or extremely beginner, and then they'll say for a, what do they say, a curious, an adventurous beginner, and then it goes into like, all right, you're working on your skills here. I think adventurous beginner, from what I read in the notes, says that this chicken sock pattern is a good one. We'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna highlight it. I'm gonna photocopy it. I'm gonna scratch it and cut things off of it. Really dive deep into that pattern. Read it over a few times. You know, all the things they tell you to do that sometimes we don't even do before casting on. I'll get some sock yarn together, get a pattern together. I foresee this project winding up pretty quick now. We're definitely in the home stretch of warm toes. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I'm having a nice leisurely Saturday at home. It's still pretty early, but the whole house sounds quiet. Last night was very quiet. The house slept well. That's good. That's it. That's all I've been working on. Oh, no. I was working on something else. It has nothing to do with socks. You want to see it? In a hurry, in a quickness. Get out of my coffee. Sock yarn is trying to get a little caffeinated. Bag O' Day Crochet has a trillion tutorials, and they have the little girl dresses, and I'm sorry, let me start over. Crystal has a lot of cute little girl dresses. They're very lacy, they're very cute, they're very pretty. And she had a little cover up, and we're getting ready to go to my grandma's 90th birthday party, and I have a beautiful dress to give to my niece to wear, but I really wanted just a little cover up for it. And I made the cover up. I made it too small, but in making it, I kept looking at the dress over and over again thinking, this has nothing to do with nothing, but my niece needs this dress. And so I went over to Hobby Lobby. It is not the 30% off sale, but when a loved one needs something very unicorn-esque and beautiful, sometimes it's okay to pay full price. I bought 2 of the Sugar Wheel Cotton Sparkle, and I bought it because it was cotton, and it's getting freaking hot over here in California with no rain. And and it had all the colors of the rainbow. This is all I have left. But I mean, it's got, can you get the sparkle off of it? I have the sliding door open. I was visiting with the chickens this morning. This is just the outer pink layer. I bought 2 of them. They're $8.49 a piece. And I followed Crystal's pattern, and let's see, I had 2 work shifts, so it was 8 hours. I worked on it in the 8 hours. Where's my hook? Worked on it in the 8 hours. I used 2 skeins. It's the perfect length. It's the perfect everything. Crystal told me for our size, which is 3T to 5T, to work it with an eye hook. Hooked on Wishing Crochet, one of my Etsy finds. Worked it up super fast in a waiting room. Kind of forgot what I was saying there. Worked it up in a waiting room. Here is the picture of the final dress. Isn't it adorable? So I got to thinking, because the size range is so wide, because really from 3 to 5, your little girl typically is getting taller, just taller. Her little legs, her little arms, she is filling out a little bit, but if you're gracious in the way that Crystal makes the design, it's very spacious. It's just your shoulder straps go straight into a very short bodice piece and then ruffle it out. It's very universal. So it took 8 and 8 is 16 at $1, $17 in material. But again, I'll go on the 30% off sale. Those dresses worked up super fast. The color, adorable. Any little girl would want that. What if I made a couple of those to take to the fair to hang on? So I have a 3-shelf rack that I want to paint, and I want to take it and make it look really shabby chic, you know, farm girl style. But I was thinking if I made a couple of those and put them on hangers on the top rack, like down the side, it might draw some very sunshiny, sparkly attention to everything else that I have going on the rack. What do you think? What do you think? Little princess unicorn dresses. So Crystal gives 2 sizes. One is 18 months, which is just over a year. So I'm saying like, I think the sizing starts with 2T. So maybe like a year. It might even fit down to a year. A year to 3T, 3T to 5T. Make like 2 and 2, make 4 more dresses? I don't know. They worked up so quick, and they're so cute that I really think that more little girls out there in the world would enjoy Unicorn Princess Rainbow Heart Star dresses. I don't know. You know me, I make one. I'm usually done with the pattern, but then I'll make 2. But Crystal has a couple of those pretty little girl dresses that work up super fast. And then I have all the monsters that I'm making and the plushies, the larger plushies that I'm making. So I mean, a stuffed animal in a pretty dress? I don't know. I just want my booth to look cute, right? Like, if this stuff doesn't go home with anybody, some will. But if it's not quite my target audience or whatever, I will not be disappointed. All of these things would make incredible gifts throughout the year or whenever, or donations or whatever. I'm going into this for the experience, not necessarily for the results. So, having said that, Missy over at Missy's Yarniverse is always talking about Pelushka Bunny. Pelushka Bunny. Maybe I think I'm saying it right. Pelushka Bunny. Maria Ermolova. She's on Ravelry, she's on Etsy, she's on Facebook, she's got her own website. She's all over the world because, oh my goodness, look at her. I'd love to introduce you to Josephine Plumley. Oh my goodness, she's so cute. I got the book with all of the patterns off of Amazon. Is there a picture with all of them? No. There is not a picture with all of them, and I don't want to give you too much of her pattern, but maybe I can fold the pages over. So you start out and she has you make a goose. Oh, I want to squeeze you in all the yarn weights, right? And then she walks you through making outfits for your goose. And it's not a porch cement goose. It's the kind of goose that you bring inside, that you gift to a loved one in your family, and they take this goose everywhere. Can you see this goose going down the slide at the park? I can. Can you see this goose going with her best friend to the library for story time? I just see this as some little kid's absolute best friend, secret keeper. Oh, Josephine, you stole my heart. Missy was showing these patterns for the different ones that she's making. Look at your swimsuit. Flip-flops. And I just thought, oh my gosh, she stole my heart. I have to. This is the yarn journey that I want to take. Okay, so I got the pattern book. The patterns, how do I describe it, are absolutely incredible. The way they're graphed, the way they're written in these charts. My eyes just jump to which line I'm working on. Absolutely no problem. I'm making all these. First book I've ever gotten my little mitts on that I'm making every single one of these. So Josephine doesn't get cold. If she had like some sort of little, I don't know, I can find, IKEA probably has a little organization thing that looks like a doll closet to hang up all the little outfits. Josephine, I believe it was maybe a little over $20, which if I break it down, each outfit pattern that I would buy and then try to create or fumble through, and the doll alone. Have you guys noticed that prices have been going up lately? Yes, yes, yes. So Pelushka Bunny makes her patterns in two sizes. There's a small size doll, and then there's she calls them medium, which leads me to believe that eventually there'll be a large. So all of her basic size, all these clothes will fit her other basic size base animals. She has a chicken. She has a chicken that was just released, and her name is Gwendolyn. Here is a picture of Pelushka Bunny's pattern, Gwendolyn. Oh, come on. Come on. Oh, Josephine and Gwendolyn are sisters, and they gotta hang out together. So I have, so Gwendolyn was just released. I got too much junk over here. Gwendolyn was just released, so I had to buy her before Amazon could deliver Josephine, I had already started hatching Gwendolyn. I know, it doesn't quite look like the picture yet. Come on, friend. I'm working on it. I grabbed some tweed. Now, I've introduced you to my chicken Bonnie, who has passed. Bonnie was not your typical white chicken. She had a lot of color in her, a lot of beauty in just her feathers in the light. My Bonnie babe. So I picked this tweed. And I know it kind of looks like a swan or a dark, but not all chickens are. This is my first one, and I know that Gwendolyn's gonna hang out with me. I want to make more of these. Leading into tying into the conversation that all got me started on this, I think I want to make a couple of these with the monsters for the display for my plushies. I want to have larger plushies, a couple of 3 small baskets of like $5 little things that I've made, like these little wooble projects and stuff. But the bottom 2 shelves, I want them to be larger, not really heirloom, but larger quality, nice plushies to become someone's best friend kind of thing. Anyway, I picked the tweed for the Gwendolyn. I've been working on her. I found the perfect eyes. Now there is some face stitching that's going to happen in here. And then we've got a beak, and we've got all kinds of stuff happening. There's a comb to go in. There's going to be some cheek molding going on. I know this isn't anyone's best friend. This is the thing that you think you see at night when the lights are off and you got to go potty. Oh, give me a minute. So this is about as tall as the body gets. I know it's kind of hard to get perspective. Here's perspective. She's gonna be an adorable little handful is what she's gonna be. I'm done growing the body. The next rows are decreasing. This is a 4-way Baracco wool because she is staying with me. I just had to grab something that reminded me of Bonnie, and with those little red and little bit of yellow tweedy bits that are in here, the camera is not really picking up on it. I can't crochet fast enough. I get these really good ideas and these color combos, and so I went over to Hobby Lobby when I was getting the dress, and I was looking at chicken colors. Josephine Plumley the goose has to be white. I want to do not a starch white, like a bright white. I want to make her an antique-y white, but I noticed that some of the antique-y whites turns towards yellow a little bit, which I'm thinking would be okay. If it's gonna be someone's best friend, I've had kids that love to play out in the world, and I know the white doesn't stay white. That goose is going to be eating ice cream. That goose is going to be going down the slide. That goose is going to have a grand old time. And as a mother, I want something acrylic that'll wash. I want something not white, because we're not even going to wash it very often. I mean, even with imagination, even if it was a very, very pale on the white side, baby blue or baby pink, or a light yellow, because the beak has got to be mustardy, sunshiny yellow. I think that that it would be easier going for a kid for longevity of looking not gross. My son would be so upset if I told you, but let me tell you, he has had a best friend since he was probably about a year old. We went to Build-A-Bear, and he bought Chase from Paw Patrol. Ryan's just about 13, and Chase has many life adventures all over him. We've watched him many times, but he did have a little talk box in him, so we couldn't just, every time we washed them, that's it. The top boxes broke. We wash them, we clean them up, take them back to Build-A-Bear. They rejuvenate them the best to their abilities, but it never quite the same. So in my mind, every time I make a cute, adorable little plush, I always think this has the potential of being someone's number one, you know? You're gonna be my number one. So this is sitting next to my pink chair, and I sit and work on that. The socks go with me to the overnight, and I think I roundabout just chitter-chatted about so much more than I intended to. How's your weekend? It's one of those holiday weekends. Do you have any plans with family? My plan is to be home here with my family, and then we have that big birthday party to go to, so that'll be fun. Lots of pictures to take. I need to see what everybody's wearing. Should probably go down the line and see, what are you wearing? What are you wearing? Okay, I approve. I need to iron that. Go put that over there. What are they? Costume check, everybody. We need a rehearsal. All right, I'll let you go. Have a wonderful weekend. It was a pleasure talking to you. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.